You know what? One Australian SUV just won Best Value Award last year, but owners are still spending $15,000 fixing transmission problems that weren't disclosed at purchase. Another supposedly rugged model literally had the chassis rust through in under 5 years in outback conditions, destroying resale value completely. And one luxury SUV cost dealerships $8 million in warranty claims in a single year because the engine mounting system was fundamentally flawed from engineering phase. From catastrophic safety failures to suspension collapses that happened without warning, we're not just talking about bad SUVs here. We're talking about vehicles that drained family savings, left owners stuck with massive repair bills, and some that actually failed crash tests worse than their economy car competitors. This is the reality of the Australian SUV market that dealerships don't want you to know. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly which SUVs are absolutely worth your money and which ones will financially ruin you. But here's the thing, if you're serious about making the right decision before spending $50,000 to $80,000 on an SUV, you need to watch until the end. Because in the final segment, we reveal the 5 hidden money pit SUVs that are still being sold right now with zero transparency about their known defects. The first SUV you absolutely must consider is the Toyota Land Cruiser Prado. Here's why Prado owners are the most loyal in the entire Australian market. 3 consecutive generations of this vehicle have maintained resale value better than any competitor. Owners report spending less than $2,000 annually on maintenance compared to $6,000 for some rivals. But what really sets the Prado apart? It's the reliability architecture. The 4.0 LV6 engine uses Toyota's proven engineering lineage dating back 20 years. Service intervals stretch to 10,000 kilometers. Parts availability is so widespread that even tiny towns have mechanics with proto-specific training. Families trust their lives to this vehicle, quite literally. The crash safety ratings are exceptional. NCAP testing showed the Prado outperforms SUVs costing $20,000 more. But let's be brutally honest about one weakness: fuel consumption. The Prado gulps around 12 liters per 100 kilometers on highways. For city driving, that jumps to 14 liters. If you're doing daily commutes from Brisbane to the Gold Coast, the Prado's fuel costs will stack up faster than you think. Still, owners consistently say the reliability factor justifies every fuel stop. Next is the Isuzu D-Max. The D-Max isn't just a utility vehicle, it's become an absolute workhorse in the Australian market. What makes it absolutely worth buying right now? The resale value is insane. A 5-year-old D-Max still holds 55 to 60% of its original value. Try finding that with other brands. The 3.0L turbo diesel delivers genuine 250 Newton-meters of torque, meaning this vehicle can haul serious loads without hesitation. Real-world owners working in construction, farming, and remote operations swear by the D-Max's durability. The aftermarket parts ecosystem is enormous. Something breaks, you're not waiting weeks for replacements. Towing capacity reaches 3,500 kilograms, making it perfect for caravans or trailers. Here's what keeps owners loyal: mechanical simplicity. No overly complicated electronics that fail catastrophically. The chassis design is proven. But here's the reality: the interior feels agricultural. Plastic quality is basic. Road noise at highway speeds is noticeable. Air conditioning can struggle in extreme outback heat. If you're prioritizing capability over comfort, the D-Max is absolutely the right choice. But if you're expecting luxury, this isn't your vehicle. The third SUV that's genuinely worth your investment is the Mitsubishi Outlander. This is where we see real value engineering. The Outlander hits the sweet spot between affordability and features. Starting price sits around $32,000 for the base model, but you get 7 seats. That's massive value. The 2.0L petrol engine delivers decent performance without being thirsty. Real owners report averaging 8.5 liters per 100 kilometers in mixed driving. The warranty structure is generous 8 years on the engine, which shows manufacturer confidence. Safety features come standard, even on base models: autonomous emergency braking, lane departure warning, all included. The interior actually feels modern and clean. Touchscreen integration works smoothly. But Mitsubishi's recent history in Australia created some hesitation. The brand had that manufacturing shutdown period that scared consumers. What owners discovered, though, is that modern Outlanders are engineered differently. The platform comes from a Renault partnership. Build quality improved dramatically. Reliability data from the past 3 years shows the Outlander competing directly with Toyota's RAV4 in terms of warranty claims and defect rates. Fourth, let's talk about the Volkswagen T-Cross. Here's something unexpected: a European SUV that's genuinely dominating the Australian compact segment. Why the T-Cross brings German engineering thinking to the affordable bracket. The 1.0L turbocharged 3-cylinder feels responsive. Performance isn't lazy. Handling through corners feels intentional and precise, not something you typically get at this price point. Interior quality is legitimately impressive. Soft-touch plastics, proper insulation, and the infotainment system actually feels intuitive. The 7-speed automatic transmission is smooth. Real-world fuel consumption hovers around 7.2 liters per 100 kilometers, and this is critical. The T-Cross has one fundamental problem. Warranty support in Australia isn't as established as Toyota or Isuzu. Service costs are higher. Parts take longer to arrive. The dealer network is smaller. Some rural owners wait 2 weeks for simple maintenance appointments. If you live in major cities like Sydney or Melbourne, the T-Cross is brilliant. Regional Australia, you might regret it. The fifth SUV that deserves serious consideration is the Mahindra XUV 700. This is where things get interesting. Mahindra entered the Australian market with aggressive pricing and surprisingly sophisticated engineering. The 2.0 liters turbo diesel produces 190 kilowatts of power. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour happens in under 9 seconds. But the real story is the interior. Mahindra completely surprised reviewers with the level of technology standard on their vehicles. Panoramic sunroof, leather seats, ambient lighting, advanced infotainment typically found on vehicles costing $20,000 more. Safety features include 9 airbags, as standard. The warranty is exceptional, 7 years or 200,000 kilometers. That's confidence. Real owners in Tasmania and Western Australia report exceptional durability. Build quality feels robust. But here's what concerns mechanics and dealers. Spare parts availability is still developing. If something breaks outside the warranty period, you might struggle finding replacement components. The dealer network is expanding, but still smaller than established brands. This is a calculated risk vehicle enormous value if nothing goes wrong. Frustrating if repairs are needed outside the network. Now we're approaching the 5 SUVs that absolutely will bankrupt you. These aren't just poor performers. These are vehicles that cost owners tens of thousands in unexpected repairs and repairs. The first bankrupt SUV is the Range Rover Evoque. Here's what happened with this vehicle in the Australian market. When it launched, luxury buyers were mesmerized. The design is genuinely stunning. The promise was British craftsmanship meeting modern technology. The reality? Catastrophic. Owners report transmission failures starting at 45,000 kilometers. One Sydney owner spent $12,000 replacing the transmission at 50,000 kilometers, still under warranty, but requiring legal intervention to force the repair. The electrical system is notorious. Infotainment screens fail randomly, parking sensors malfunction. Door lock actuators get stuck. One Brisbane owner reported being locked inside the vehicle, while the climate control failed in 42-degree heat. Electrical diagnosis costs alone run $2,000, $3,000, because technicians need to replace entire modules to identify problems. The air suspension system, supposed to be the height of luxury technology, develops leaks. Repairs cost $8,000, $15,000 per corner. Depreciation is absolutely brutal. A 3-year-old Evoque loses 50% of its value. Warranty claims data shows the Evoque generates more complaints per vehicle than any other luxury SUV in Australia. Dealership networks are limited, meaning you're often traveling hours for service appointments. Second bankrupt SUV, the BMW X5 second generation, the engineering is brilliant. The driving dynamics are exceptional. But the cost of ownership becomes genuinely painful after year 3. The turbocharged engines develop carbon buildup, requiring $4,000 cleaning procedures. The transmission fluid needs replacing every 100,000 kilometers. Standard service costs $1,500. Suspension components wear rapidly. Front suspension struts need replacement around 80,000 kilometers. parts cost $2,000. Labor adds another $1,200. The electronics are catastrophically expensive when they fail. One Melbourne owner's infotainment system malfunction required replacing the entire central computer module. $5,600 brake pad, whereas accelerated by the vehicle's weight and performance. Regular pads cost $800 per axle. Genuine BMW parts have no competition on pricing. A simple battery replacement costs $1,800. Insurance premiums run 40% higher than equivalent Japanese SUVs. Real owners report annual maintenance costs exceeding $6,000–$8,000 after the warranty period ends. Depreciation is severe for V-rolled X5 South, lose 60% of original value. Here's the reality about the Australian SUV market. Buying the right vehicle is fundamentally about understanding total cost of ownership, not just the purchase price. The 10 SUVs we discussed that are genuinely worth buying the product, D-Max, Outlander, T-Cross, and XUV 700, represent the sweet spot where reliability, value, and reasonable ownership costs align. They won't excite you with premium badge prestige, but they'll deliver consistent performance without financial devastation. The 5 bankrupt SUVs represent the opposite: beautiful engineering, premium features, and catastrophic ownership expenses. Before you make your decision, before you sign those finance papers, before you commit to a vehicle that might drain $60,000 over the ownership period, reach out. Comment below telling us which SUV you're considering. Share your own ownership stories. Because right here, right now, we have a challenge, and we need your help to complete it. Our goal is hitting 1,000 subscribers in the next 7 days. That's ambitious, that's aggressive. But with viewers like you sharing this content, subscribing to the channel, and supporting this mission, we can make it happen. So hit that subscribe button right now. Share this video with someone making a vehicle purchase decision. Drop a comment, because together, we're building a community that makes smarter vehicle decisions instead of expensive mistakes. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.